Is it true that a plant-based vegan diet results in deficiencies like low protein, zinc, B12, calcium, and higher blood sugars from all those carbs? Well, I've been vegan for over 4 years, so let's look at my blood work and find out. So I asked my doctor, I've been vegan for a while. How's my protein level? And he said, it's fine. I said, okay, so I don't need to take any protein supplements? He says, no, 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 you're good. So I was like, yay. All right, let's look at zinc. All right, in 2022, that's just when he last ordered it. Look, check it out, 76.7, totally in the normal range. So, and I do not take a multivitamin. I do not take zinc supplements. I just get my zinc from food. Okay, let's look at B12. Last time I got my B12 checked was 2024, this year. Okay, great. And look, right in the middle, 517. It's perfect. So I do take a B12 supplement. So for everyone who's like, against being vegan, they're probably like, oh, supplements, your diet's so bad if you have to take supplements. I've only been vegan for 4 years, and I took multivitamins then, and my blood work wasn't so great. In 2012, my total cholesterol was 210. That is so high. I can't believe it. I look back at that and I'm like, wow, that's nuts. And my doctor wanted to put me on a statin. I was like, no way. And at that time, I was eating a diet that doctors prescribe to people. They tell people, eat this way. And what I was eating was, for breakfast, I would have like a fruit smoothie. It would be a cup of almond milk, banana with a peach in it. I had my protein powder and like maybe a tablespoon or less of peanut butter or almond butter. And then, so that was breakfast. And then lunch would be something like grilled chicken with grilled zucchini with maybe a half a cup of rice. And I would weigh everything and I would portion everything out. I would portion out my rice. I would weigh my chicken. I have a scale, and so I would weigh out 3 ounces. So I wasn't overdoing it. And I would take off the skin, a handful of almonds, and I would usually have a little bit more chicken. For dinner, it would be something like grilled tilapia or some broiled salmon with maybe a little bit of teriyaki sauce and some pickled cucumbers and maybe some asparagus with a half a cup of quinoa. Snack on tortilla chips with salsa. On the weekends, I would, maybe have a cookie. And I didn't, one cookie from the store, like a peanut butter cookie. Rarely did I ever drink. And I also had a personal trainer, and he was pushing me really hard. And so I exercised and I lifted weights. And gosh, a cholesterol level of 210 with that kind of diet. And that's a diet that like is supposed to be ideal. Well, if that diet is so ideal, then why did I have high cholesterol? Why did I have constipation? I was always hungry. And why did I have to take a multivitamin if it's so great? So in 2021, which was about a year after I was vegan, my total cholesterol level dropped to 149. So it was a 61-point drop. And also, when I was doing all that exercise and eating my ideal diet, westernized, healthier-ish diet, I had a BMI of 25. And if you look that up, that is considered overweight. And I was always hungry. And I was like, how can I eat less than this? I was also diagnosed in my late 30s with type 1.5 diabetes, and my blood sugar averaged around 222, which is really high. Now it's 117, which is considered really good for a type 1.5 diabetic. Now I eat a whole food, so very little processed foods, plant-based vegan diet with no oil at all, because oils are high in saturated fat and they're processed, they clog arteries, and they make cholesterol levels rise. So I'm like, all right, let's get rid of that too. My LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, was 133, I believe. And when I went vegan, after I think it was around a year later, that dropped down to 85, which is really good too. So doctors want your total cholesterol level to be, well, it depends on who you talk to, but some of them will say, okay, this needs to be under 200 before they'll want to prescribe you a statin, but ideal is under 150. So it was really high on my healthy-ish animal diet, but it's really good now. So let's check out my calcium level. So last time, as far back as I could check my records, in 2017, my calcium score was a normal 9.2. And at that time, I was eating a meat-centered diet. And I was also taking a calcium supplement. So with a calcium supplement, it was 9.2. Now, one of the reasons why I was taking a calcium supplement is I was born with a dairy allergy, extreme dairy allergy. This is not just an intolerance. I go into anaphylactic shock. And so one of the first things that happens when I have dairy of any kind, whether it's milk or yogurt or butter or cream, anything that has dairy in it, even like a protein powder that has a little bit of dairy in it, the first thing that happens is my throat starts to close up. It feels like it's got hives and the hives are closing up, and I feel like I have a fever. I start like getting really hot, and then I start producing phlegm in the back of my throat. Just thinking about it makes me want to and my stomach starts to hurt, and my whole body just starts to ache. I feel so awful, and then I just want to go and spit up. And like I'll usually go to the bathroom and rinse my mouth and just start spitting. And then what happens is if I have a little more than just a drop, I'll end up throwing up profusely. And typically it's just like uncontrollable. So much so that I end up with the very bottom of my stomach where there's no more food, where there's bile, and then I throw up the bile. Have you ever tasted bile? It's so bitter and disgusting. It would make me want to throw up even more. But anyway, so the doctors told me, oh, you're not eating dairy, so you have to take a calcium supplement. So all my life, I was taking this calcium supplements. So that's why I was taking the calcium supplement, even though I didn't need it. When I transitioned to a vegan diet, I was kind of worried. I heard all this stuff that we're going to be deficient, we're going to have all these problems. And so I started reading a bunch of books and watching videos and everything I could about nutrition and taking classes. And then I was like, I don't need to take calcium anymore. I'm eating greens, I'm eating beans, I'm eating whole food. So I stopped taking the calcium supplement. So I got my calcium rechecked. So it looks like 2024. And my calcium was normal, and I think it was 9.4. Yes. And this was 100% vegan diet and not taking calcium. And what's like cool is that my calcium score went up on a vegan diet. So when I was doing my carb restricted, animal based, calorie controlled diet, animal based diet, I told you my BMI was 25, which was overweight. And now I eat a plant-based vegan diet, lots of carbohydrates, and I limit my fats. I don't try not to have too many nuts, and I don't have any oil. But I have lots of avocado. I have lots of chia seeds and flax seeds. So I don't eat a low fat diet, but I just limit the saturated fats. And so now my BMI, last time I got it checked, is around 16. So 25 to 16, you were overweight and now you're underweight. You can't win, right? I can eat lots of carbs. I'll have like 6 or 7 bananas a day. I'll have 2 big smoothies. Oh, and the other thing is, I was diagnosed with type 1.5 diabetes, and then the doctors saw that my insulin production was going down, down, down. So it was like here, high, and then over the years, it kept going down and down. And then they re-diagnosed me as type 1, so from 1.5 to type 1, because I was producing so little insulin. And I decided, these doctors are so lame. All they do is tell me bad news and want to put me on drugs. And so I paid extra out of network to work with some plant-based doctors who are experts in nutrition. And I found one that was really good. I paid out of my pocket for it. And he said, you know what? Why don't you try Dr. Brooke Goldner's autoimmune protocol to see if that will save any of your remaining beta cells. So the beta cells are in the pancreas, which produces insulin. I followed her special vegan, really restrictive diet. It's like a detox. And I followed that for 5 months. I had the blood tests before just to confirm antibodies for type 1 diabetes were present, and they were. It was high. I don't know if it was high, but it was at 27. I was positive for type 1 diabetes because there's all these different tests. And so after doing the detox, I did it for a longer period of time. I just wanted to make sure that I was really healing my body, giving it enough time. I think this is long enough. I'm going to go get that same test and see if I reversed the antibodies, stop those attacks from happening. So I got the test and it said the antibodies were less than 10. So I contacted the doctor and I'm like, what does this mean? Am I seeing the real thing? Does this mean I have negative antibodies? And he said, yes. So what that means is I reversed type 1 diabetes antibodies. So my body is no longer attacking my pancreatic beta cells. And all the doctors, you ask anybody, oh, that's impossible. You can't do it. Well, just because they don't know about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist and doesn't mean it isn't true. So I just think that's pretty cool. I wish I'd known about this years ago. My body is no longer attacking all my cells and my tissues and my organs. A plant-based vegan diet improved my health drastically. And I've got blood tests to prove it. If you follow Dr. Greger's 12 key points to eat every day, beans and vegetables and fruit and nuts and seeds and herbs and grains, you're going to be fine. Just eat enough and vary your fruits and vegetables and eat what's in season and don't go hungry and don't worry about it. Get your blood tests and that way you're going to be like, okay, and if you need to eat more of a certain thing or get more B12, then you do it. And I'm checking out these lizards. I think they're going to get nasty. Anyways, if you have any questions about a vegan diet, or if you want some really delicious recipes, check out my cookbook. It's called The High Five Diet. I created it for people like me who, when I went on a vegan diet, I couldn't find any recipes that I like. I'm really picky and I wanted very unprocessed, oil-free recipes. And so those I've got. And I talk about my story, my crazy life, and all the things that I had to go through before I got to this point today. So check that out, thehighfivediet.com. And any questions, write to me below. Hope to see you soon. Bye. For my favorite low-fat, oil-free, plant-based vegan recipes, order my cookbook with vegan nutrition facts on how to prevent and reverse disease, which chronicles my personal health and weight loss story through my website, thehigh5diet.com.